One hard part about choosing a planner is that there are so many options out there. Finding the perfect one for you can feel like finding a needle in a haystack. And searching for advice online can be just as confusing. People are often showing off their huge planner stacks or using terms you don't understand and generally making it way too complicated for the average person who's just trying to find a tool to plan their life. So, in this video, we're going to simplify all that for you. I wanted to make a sort of basic Planner 101 video to help you decide what planner is right for you. We're going to be going through some real examples and have some real suggestions at the end. Let's start by talking about layouts. So I think we need to start here because this is the actual bread and butter of your planning system. This is what you're in every single day. A few common layouts are daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and of course, yearly. Not all planners have all types. Some planners only have one or two types. Some planners have more, but the layouts you need should be dependent largely on how you see time. We're going to do a quick exercise to help you find out how you see time by asking yourself two questions. One, what point in a year do you feel are natural resets for you? And two, what time frame do you plan your tasks on? So let's go through those 5 types of layouts and ask ourselves these questions. First, let's talk about yearly layouts. This is good for planning things that happen on a yearly basis. If you do a lot of bigger picture planning, for example, this might be really good for you. And this is a Hobonichi cousin. You can see this one actually started in April. So you can see it has all the way through 6 months to the next year. So kind of a weird start time, but it does show you a full year in this planner in these beginning spreads. And you can sort of plot out bigger picture things, vacations, trips, periods of time when you're going to need to be isolated or need to take care of someone or whatever sort of tasks you do. For me, this is really helpful breakdown because I work in academia. So it's helpful to see sort of like semesters broken out in interesting ways and things like that. If you like yearly planning, you also might be interested in an 18-month planner or a planner that extends beyond just traditional 12 months that most planners have. This is a Moleskine planner. It's one of my favorite planners. It is their horizontal weekly with memo page, which we'll get into why I like this layout in a second. Basically, this started in July of 2021 and goes all the way to the end of December of 2022, which meant I was able to use it to sort of see far into the future when I was planning with it. In the beginning of the year. Now, you might like a yearly view, but you need something more granular. Maybe you plan your tasks every season or every quarter. I feel like a lot of people don't think that they plan this way, but we actually do plan a lot of things seasonally. For example, decluttering, taking our car in, going to the dentist. These are all things that most of us don't do every month, but we may do a few times a year. So if you really gravitate towards those fresh start feelings the new seasons give you, this might be a way you want to plan. For example, I have in front of me a Wonderland 222 undated planner, and in the beginning it has a lot of quarterly planning spreads. So it has just kind of a minimal yearly index year on 2 pages, and then it gets right into quarterly planning where it has pages for all 4 quarters, and in these 4 quarter pages you have sections to write what you want to do for the quarter or write your goals or whatever sort of free space here, and then you have a monthly section to plot out something more specific, note in important dates for that quarter, or use it as like a checkbox system. Again, it's super free form, but it allows you to have the flexibility and the function of planning by quarter. Now, this is really great for goal planning. So if you like goal planning, you may want to do quarterly planning. Wonderland was one example. The Sterling Ink Common Planner, I have here the 2024 version, also has a goal breakdown in the beginning of the planner that then feeds into the quarterly pages. So if you want a little bit of goal planning action, this is a really free form way to get it in a planner. But a more specific way, if you feel like you need a little bit more structure, is to use a planner that is made for quarterly planning. So the one that I have used in the past is called the Full Focus Planner. This comes in lots of different sizes, and essentially it has a goal breakdown in the beginning where you write out your goals and your details and why you want to do them and all sorts of fun stuff. And then you check in with a weekly preview every single week and look ahead to your week. And then then you are in your daily pages, where every single day has a big 3 most important tasks that are related to your goals, yada, yada, yada. So this is built on a quarterly basis. A lot of goal planners will be like spanning just 3 months. A lot of them will be undated, so you can sort of start your quarters whenever you want. The full focus planner is a great option. It's just 1 quarter in 1 book with really detailed instructions for how to set your goals. Now, the next type of layout is every month. I feel like this is a really common one. Almost every single planner you see has a monthly layout, and they usually look something like this. You get the idea. Maybe it's every month that you feel that fresh start coming on, and it really helps you organize your mind to see what's coming up for the month. Some monthly layouts in various planners have different spaces on the side. You can see that's true of the Wonderland. This is a Hobonichi Cousin. It also has extra space. And then this one is an undated planner from Hubman and Chub Girl, and they have extra note space here built into the layout. So if you feel like you like seeing your month at a glance and you get that fresh start feeling at the beginning of the month, a monthly layout might be a must-have for you. But another common one is weekly, and every week, personally, I feel a mini boost of productivity coming on. I always feel like, okay, I did last week, it's time for this week, I can start again, I can get a fresh start. I feel really calm and rested knowing what my week has in store for me. So for me, this is one of my fresh restarts. Also, if you have a collection of tasks you know you need to get done in a week, but you don't have a specific day they need to get done, weekly layouts can be great. Again, this is Hubman and Chub Girl. It's a vertical weekly and it is undated, but they do have an extra weekly space here for you to write down your tasks and other needs. Another layout I really like is the ones in the Hobonichi Cousin, because they have a weekly section on one side and then a blank page that you can write out your task lists on the other side. These are sort of 2 examples, one vertical, one horizontal, but weekly layouts come in all different shapes and sizes. And then, of course, there is daily layouts. I already showed you the daily layout example in the full focus planner, which is highly structured. But of course, there are planners like the Hobonichi Cousin that give you a less structured version of the daily layout with a lot more free room to roam and write and everything. Personally, I think daily planners are great if you have a lot to do or a busy schedule each day. Many of them come with timelines that you can use to map out your schedule. Both of these ones certainly do. And then lots and lots of space where you can write out extra tasks and notes and things like that if you have really busy days that have a lot of material. And lastly, a blank notebook is always an option. This is kind of a colorful one. Again, this is from Hubman and Chub Girl. They're actually sponsoring this video and I'm going to talk a little bit more about them later, but they make blank notebooks that a lot of people would consider for things like bullet journals with the dot grids, and they have, you know, a bunch of different pages, thick paper, that kind of stuff. For me personally, I need some kind of blank and empty area in my planners because I am always scribbling out notes and experiments with new things, just trying to see what works and also making notes here and there about my productivity and what I'm doing for the day. A blank notebook is a great tool for this to just have around, but some planners also have blank pages built in, like the Hobonichi Cousin has a set of blank pages at the back after the weekly sections are done. It's just all blank note paper. Another Hobonichi that I am trying this year has just the month layouts in the beginning, and then it has just blank pages, so no weekly section. And of course, I also do consider this blank memo page in the horizontal with memo layout for the week that I like as being an extra blank space of paper to scribble notes on and stuff like that. So something like these Moleskine planners will work just as well because they have all this extra space here as well. So now that we have a good foundation on the layouts that are available to you in various forms across all different planners, let's talk about customizability. Customizability means so many different things in the planner world. Customizing can mean having different covers that you use to put on top of your planners. Some of them can have bands like this or just be open. It can also mean customizing the pages themselves. So here I have a blank notebook that I just wrote in copied in a monthly layout into, but also I set up my own goals and was able to create my own sort of template here. Lots of people do this with pre-printed layout pages as well. You might just sort of ignore the pre-printed and just make your own layout. Basically, any type of planner you have, you can find a way to customize it. But generally, I'm going to show you a loose line graph of my view of customizability. So when we're talking customizing planners, we have a horizontal graph here, and this is customizability. Now, I've been showing you mostly bound book planners in this example so far. But if you are new to the planner world, you should know there are many different types of bindings on planners. I think the most important thing to learn first about what you like is the type of layout, because that's going to help you the most, which is why we started with that. But when it comes to binding, this can get really, really customized. So I'm going to throw a lot of information at you, but it's okay. We're going to work through it together. I like a bound book, right? And I think bound books are somewhere here on the scale of customizability, right? With this being super customizable and this being customizing nothing. So just pre-printed stuff over here. Bound books and other pre-printed planners are about right here, right? So they're pretty much on the, you can't customize them, you can't affect the layout or anything. Undated planners like the Hubman and Chubgirl one and the Wonderland 222 planner that I showed you are somewhere right here, right? Undated bound planners. Because you can customize the dates and the time period that they cover, but you can't really customize the layout itself. Bullet journaling is kind of like in the middle. You can, of course, customize everything with bullet journaling, technically, but I think the actual system of bullet journaling is a defined system. It's very flexible because it gives you the opportunity to follow a set of rules or customize it yourself, keep it minimal or go excessive. I'm going to go ahead and put that about in the middle, like maybe slightly towards the super customizable section. And then goal planners, like what we saw with the full focus planner. This planner allows you to customize like nearly nothing, right? Everything is laid out for you and you sort of have to use the prompts that it gives you. That's over here. So goal or activity planners really allow you to customize nothing. You can get that in a few different colors and like that's basically it. And then on this side of the graph are things like rings or discs, basically anything where you have to be printing or making your own pages. That's over here. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with rings, discs, printables, that sort of thing, I'll put some screenshots up on the screen right now. Essentially, these are things like, it looks like a 3-ring binder and you just sort of hole punch and put in your new daily or weekly or whatever spreads you want. So you're printing out pages from the internet or hand making the pages and then sticking them in like a 3-ring binder type of system, or a disc system, which is basically like the 3-ring binder but isolated from the binder. There's no cover. And that's total customizability, right? Anything goes over there. You have to make it yourself and you can make it yourself however you want. And then somewhere in the middle here between bullet journaling and rings, discs, etc. are traveler's notebooks. Traveler's notebook covers often look like this. They have a band that goes around them, and then on the inside, they often have like bands like this. And essentially, imagine this is like a larger notebook, but essentially you loop your notebook through the band like so, and it sort of holds multiple of those, and you have what are called inserts, which describes these little books that you put inside your traveler's notebook. So a traveler's notebook allows for a lot of customizability. The covers, you can get whatever cover you want. And then, of course, the notebooks, you can get whatever notebook you want, but it's a little bit less customizable than like rings or discs or printables, because you're not actually printing your own pages. You're sort of either getting blank notebooks like you would in bullet journaling, or notebooks with pre-printed layouts in them like you do from like the proper traveler's notebook company itself. So when you're choosing what level of customizability you want in your planner, keep in mind a few things. Customizability will often come with some combination of time, energy, and money. And that's sort of what I'm calling like this half is the customizable half of the graph here. For example, rings planners, printables. A lot of times what you're going to see is people buying printables on Etsy, making printables themselves, and basically buying different rings covers. So a lot of people I've seen have like different colors for every season, different covers for different moods, different covers for different types of binders. Traveler's notebooks can also be quite expensive because the inserts are usually rather small, and so you need to buy a lot of them, and often they are marked up, especially if you're getting something pre-printed. In my opinion, all of these cost a lot of time and energy because with bullet journaling, you're making your own layouts, you're doing your own systems, you have to make everything yourself. With rings and discs, you have to sort of design your own system. Same thing with traveler's notebooks. So it's a lot of energy, cost, and money, especially up front. These can get cheaper if you want to, like, say, you obviously don't have to invest all of that time in bullet journaling and creating your own system. And I know there are a lot of people who find cheap alternatives to traveler's notebooks or never change their rings planner cover unless they absolutely need to, in which case it just stays one price because you've spent the money once and you can keep printing the same printables that work for you over and over again. But for the most part, I see a lot of time and energy and money spent here in creators that you're going to find online when you're Googling these things. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's just time and energy, sometimes it's a combination of both. But in general, the more customized you want to get, the more time, energy, and money you're spending. Now, this isn't to say that these things aren't sometimes expensive or sometimes time costly, energy costly. For example, this goal and activity planners, the full focus planner, is quite expensive. It is, I think this was like 30 or 50 bucks, depending on what size you get. And it doesn't involve any customizability on the inside, so you don't really have to worry about that. But it is only 3 months, so this can get kind of financially costly. And then, of course, bound books, there's no guarantee that you're just going to get like a cheap one. It might be kind of expensive. But in general, I find if you're buying just one bound book or one goal activity planner, you can save a lot of energy costs in this realm in a way that makes up for maybe the financial costs. So I'm going to also add money over here. And customizability, I want to say, is okay. I'm giving these caveats that some things cost a lot of money, some things cost a lot of time and energy, but it's your planner. So if you like a bunch of customizability, if customizability is going to help you use your planner, if it helps you that it looks cute, it looks fun, or if it helps you that you have a lot of layout options and you want to draw them all yourself because you need something very specific, go heavy customizable. There are ways to reduce time, energy, money costs anywhere you are on this spectrum, but I will say if you're customizing and constantly customizing, you may consider these costs as a real thing. Just make sure you're thinking about how the costs impact your productivity, because I think that's what the most important thing is here. One way to majorly customize without impacting your layout or pages is by adding stickers. There are a lot of great sticker brands out there, but one of my favorites is Hubman and Chipgirl, and they are also kindly sponsoring this video. Hubman and Chipgirl makes beautiful bespoke planner boxes and kits. Several of the books I've shown off so far in this video are Hubman and Chipgirl originals, but they've also got all sorts of themed planner boxes and sticker kits to get your hands on. And when I say themed, I mean themed. This one is obviously coffee, but we're talking cactuses, cats, work life, and they're adding new themes every single month. So this month, obviously, they sent me the coffee version. You can see they have coffee washi tape. They have a coffee themed journal. This is their actual planner kit stickers, so you can use these in your planner. They have sort of like half boxes and full boxes. They also have like die cuts and vinyl stickers, which is really cute for your planner or laptop. And they also come with these little pins, at least most of them do, and I have personally been collecting them from the boxes that they've given me so far. So cute accessories, cute stickers, cute planners. But if the whole themed setup is a bit much for you, they also have smaller kits of just the stickers that are perfectly sized for your Hobonichi or whatever planner you're using. So whether you are looking to start a fresh book with a new theme or just trying to glow up an old or existing planner, Hubman and Chipgirl has your back. If you want to make deco super easy and get a fresh new theme for each month of the year, head to my link in the description down below and enter the code Rachel15 for a sweet 15% off. Thanks to Hubman and Chipgirl for sponsoring this video. Another thing I think you need to consider when you are choosing a planner is aesthetic, user experience, and luxury. These three things are important parts of picking a planner. They are not all necessarily created equal, and you might find one more valuable than the other when you are making your decisions as to what planners to choose. But the way your planner looks and feels can impact how much you want to use it, so you can't really ignore this step. For example, if you are taking your planner to work, you want it to look work appropriate, which might mean making sure it looks more mature, pared back, simple, not a lot of frill. Full Focus Planner is built for professionals, so they make sure their stuff is very clean, in sort of corporate colors, not a lot of accessories, that kind of stuff. Or if your planner is a place where you go to self-express and accessorize, and that self-expression helps you feel motivated to use your planner. Having one with a fun cover or a beautifully designed cover may be much more motivating to you to go to use it because it says something about your personality. So aesthetic, definitely a factor. I would say for me, user experience is a huge factor. For example, one thing that's super important to me that I love about planners that I buy is that they lie flat, because I often keep them open on my desk. So planners that involve a lot of breaking in, like this one doesn't lie flat, it's going to involve a lot of breaking in. This is not really a good fit for me as much as this is, because this lies flat. I know it's going to lie flat, and that really matters in terms of like the feel of the product and the user experience of it. A lot of things impact user experience. I'm just giving one that matters to me, but things like paper weight can really matter. So Hobonichi products and lots of planners these days have this very thin Tomoe River paper, kind of Bible-like in texture. Whereas if you get a notebook from a different brand like Hubman and Chubgirl, you're going to have a little bit thicker of paper. When you flip it over, it's going to just have a different experience that you're working with in the planner itself. There's also, of course, textures and covers and weights and sizes to experiment with. But in general, when you are working with aesthetic, luxury, and user experience, I don't think you should get caught up in one or two of these too much. If something is going to be a deal breaker for you, like that lie flat option, like I was mentioning earlier, that really, really matters. But things like color, like many brands will have lots of different color and cover options. For example, like I said, Full Focus has several different colors that you can choose from. This is Sterling Ink. These are both Sterling Ink Common Planner variations. They're actually the same planner, if you can believe it or not, and they come in two completely different sizes. They come in two colors. I got the gold edge, but you can also get it in white, so there's lots of customization options there. And then same thing with like Hobonichi Weeks. You can get it with so many different cover options. So if you don't like the look of one of the weeks, you can always buy a new one or buy a different one. But I will encourage you to not get super caught up in this again. I think things like paper type and size and shape are really valuable things to consider in terms of user experience. Is this super heavy? Am I going to be able to take it to work and plan on the go? Do I need a lighter planner? Most brands will be making products that enable you to choose from things like color, cover, and size. So decide on what layouts you like, find the brands that have those planners with those types of layouts, and then see what sort of options that brand offers you. And if they really don't have something that you really feel like you need, then you can move on. But in general, knowing if you want to really highly customize your planner or if you are just looking for something with a vertical weekly layout, these things are the things that matter a little bit more, I think. So we talked about how to figure out what layouts you think will work best for you, and we talked about how to figure out where you fall on a customizability scale, whether you like it really customized, really not customized, what layouts you need. Those two things are going to be mostly the two tools you use to find your planners. And then of course within that, you want to consider aesthetic, you want to consider if it looks pretty, what the hand feel is, all that kind of stuff. But now I want to talk about my personal recommendations for beginners. The number one planner that I personally recommend whenever anyone comes to me asking about a planner is the Moleskine Weekly Planner. This is the planner. I showed this a little bit earlier in the video. It looks like this, has a nice strap, very simple cover. It has a bookmark if you're interested in the bookmark, so it can hold your page. And the bulk of the planner looks like this. The bulk of the planner is a weekly layout with a week on one side and a memo page on the other side. Now, if you are familiar at all with my channel, you'll know that this is my favorite type of layout because it has plenty of note space to write week-long notes, assignments, to-do lists, or trackers. And then it also has enough space on each day for you to write date-specific events and date-specific tasks. It's also budget friendly. Most sizes are going to be between $15 and $30, so you're not absolutely breaking the bank. It's slim, it's not intrusive, you can easily throw it into your bag, and you can carry it around by itself like this or with a blank notebook. Moleskine makes great blank notebooks. I used this planner for years. I used it some in my post-college work life, but also mostly getting me through college and managing my college schedule. This planner was like my favorite thing. I was happy and I was productive. So if you're just starting out on your planner journey, I recommend this one. It does have rather small monthly sections at the top, but it's nothing that I would think would really discourage me from recommending this to anyone. There are a lot of blank spaces where you can add character and color and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, this is what I recommend. Brands I really like that are not Moleskine, if you're looking for something a little bit more boutique, I love Hobonichi. I've talked about Hobonichi a billion times on this channel. I'll leave my unboxing for what Hobonichis I got this year up in the cards, but this has really soft, luxurious Tomoe River paper in there, and they have a few planner options to choose from that pretty much has a weekly or daily or monthly option, whatever your preference is. So Hobonichi is a good brand with a lot of basic planners that feel sort of boutique and have a really good, like, fun, creative ethos. But generally, I think you're good with just a basic Moleskine planner, or I recommend getting yourself a blank notebook and start bullet journaling or experimenting with your own layouts. This is the best way to see if you like a certain type of layout, is to open up a blank notebook and just try some stuff. This is a very small monthly. I wanted to see if I liked a small monthly, so I made this really small, and it honestly worked. I know I could use this size of monthly, which means I could potentially move into a smaller planner someday. If you really like a fancy type of layout that you've seen in a planner online, but you're not sure if the planner will work for you, open to a blank page and draw it yourself. If hand drawing your spreads doesn't end up being your thing, at least you know what spreads sort of worked for you, so you can find a planner with those spreads in them before you end up spending all your money and buying something that you don't like. Drawing all my spreads by hand was not personally my thing, which is why I have found my personal planner piece in the bound book planner system. But I hope this video gave you lots of ideas for how you can choose your own planner. So if you're brand new to the planning world, let me know what tips resonated with you. And if you've been around the block a time or two, please leave your suggestions for beginners down in the comment box below, and I will talk to you there. I've also got a video right here next to my head on why planning on paper works so well if you want to keep watching. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, for being part of this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.